And we are back after just a short delay of setup, typical stuff. And once again, we are here benefiting the Liam Foundation. I've mentioned it a few times now that things in the States aren't going particularly well, but one of the additional current work projects they are working on is housing and assisting people and families who have had to move to Rockford from out of state due to some of the anti trans legislation going on right now. So, as I've said countless times and will continue to say, every dollar counts in helping our trans brothers and sisters down in the US who need some assistance. That said, for assisting us, assisting them, we have the Final Fantasy VI Career Day run coming up. And one last donation for it $5 from Cordy Fox asking for a Blue Mage for the Career Day, which means I believe our full team is entirely decided. So without any further ado, I am going to hand it over to our runner and our commentator, Fiery Blizzard and Dry Zalazar. Take it away.
Thanks, Matty. Yes, this is Final Fantasy V Career Day. This is sort of inspired by the 4-Job Fiesta that is actually happening right now, started today. So I'm sure if you are familiar with the 4-Job Fiesta, then you are pretty much aware of what's going to go on. We have 4 jobs. Those are the 4 jobs we get in the entire game. It's 4 out of 22. And our goal at the end of the day is to beat the final boss. As Maddie had mentioned, I am Fiery Blizzard, and I am joined today by Dryzalizer. I will get started so that we can move this marathon along. If Dry, you want to talk a little bit as well. So, hope you guys
Sure.
enjoy.
Sure, Fiery. Good to be here. Hello, everyone. And yeah, we're about to start this seed off. The standard opening here is looting of Tycoon Castle, and I will reveal that since this is a 4-job seed, and since I know at least we got that donation for Blue Mage, yeah, we're gonna have Blue Mage. We're gonna have also Geomancer. We're gonna have Mystic Knight, and we're gonna have everyone's favorite, the Berserker. So Berserker hype, Blue Mage hype, whatever jobs you donated for, that's what we got, and it should be a fun team.
Yeah, we're actually starting off with a little bit of power immediately. We got Arrow 2 from Tycoon Castle. Pretty decent spell early. Geomancer is also going to be pretty useful early as well. The main goal of this game is to collect the 4 tablets so you can go into Neo X stuff, and because of the settings we're using, we're starting with 1 already, so we have to find 3. But they could be anywhere. So hopefully, we don't have to dig too far for all of them, or maybe you want us to dig everywhere. There are hints placed around in the game. There are 5 hints in each world. 10 are available to us immediately, just the way the settings are, and 5 are requiring a couple items. But they sort of will try to give you direction about where to go.
Our first hint from the Chancellor was that Bal Castle has the shrine page. That is a potentially useful hint, but we don't know yet whether the shrine will be a place we need to go or not. So we'll be collecting more hints as we go. There's actually 15 total hints that you can get in this randomizer, 5 in each of the 3 worlds.
Yeah, so if you're familiar with Career Day but haven't been paying too much attention, a bunch of us have gone through and changed a lot of the loot tiering in various places and what items are going, just to try to avoid creating a little bit of power balance as well, but to avoid really the hold A's of the beginning or mid games. So in reality, I think this ends up being a bit more underpowered than you're probably used to early game, but really smooths up the end game as well. So
yeah, there had been a number of other changes as well. So like you're getting the experience gain is a lot clearer now because you get the amount of for experience you get the amount of hit points that the boss had becomes your experience. And before it was sort of a formula that no one really even knew except the creator for experience, and some bosses also didn't give them experience properly, so that's been changed, fixed, makes everything a little bit smoother as you progress through the seed.
yeah, the good thing about 4-job mode is I can get a whole bunch of these things, a whole bunch of weapons, and be like, I will never use it at all, and just sell them.
Yeah, money should not be a problem. That's one of the nice things about 4-job.
The issue is, of course, me remembering what jobs I actually have, which can sometimes be quite a problem. I'm trying to go quickly. So we're in Tool now, sort of the beginning town of the game. So there is one monster in a box here, somewhere. If I haven't already fought it, I don't think I have. So it's going to be in the pot. And then there's another hint telling us that the Moogle Waterway, which is in World 2, has the Big Bridge Key, which is where Greg hangs out, or the Gilgamesh 2 fight. This is the game that introduced Gilgamesh into the Final Fantasy series, a longtime favorite. We get the Brave
Oh my
Blade,
gosh.
which I can do nothing with.
Oh my gosh, Odin in the tool shop can't do anything with that either.
So in the randomizer, if you're familiar with the vanilla game, there comes a point where you choose two different chests in the town of Moor. One chest gives you the chicken knife, the other gives you the brave blade. It is pretty much acknowledged that you should always be choosing the chicken knife. But in the randomizer, what happens is, because it's dependent on whether or not you run away from an enemy, they're both set to their max attack stat.
Yeah, in fact, with a freelancer, you can equip both of them at once potentially, and the two-handed ability you can equip the Brave Blade and the Chicken Knife together in the randomizer if you want.
Actually, I'm gonna buy a few rods here. I'm gonna buy time slip just in case. There's like one boss that you can use time slip on. But actually, I think I'll grab an epi as well. Rod breaking is really overpowered. Just if you can break a rod early, that can get you through a good portion of the bosses just on that end alone. So here we're entering the first dungeon of the game, Wind Shrine. This is where the Wind Crystal is. First boss in the vanilla game as well. 250 HP on top. And there's some loot here as well.
Yep, this should go. This is one of Geomancer's good spots because its terrain attacks are sort of tuned for the job joining later, so it can sometimes one-shot or nearly one-shot the opening boss with a gust.
We can definitely set things to the bottom. That's not who I bought the epi for. Let's give that to the Mystic Knight. There we go. So a big thing about this game is sort of a lot of jobs are overpowered, or can be overpowered. You just need to know how to do it. Blue Mage is certainly one of those that are game-breaking. Mystic Knight is another. The idea really is if you don't have to fight a boss by draining its HP, you don't want to do that. And a lot of bosses are not immune to things like instant death or break, both of which will instantly kill a boss for you.
Ooh, Steamship Key is the reward at the Wind Shrine. That is a really nice thing to have. It opens up a couple of fairly easy checks early on.
I get 6 rewards here, I think.
Yeah, for the six crystal shards, yep. And also getting Bahamut out of the way early. Nice to see him. Nice to see him rolling. There's
So
absolutely scaling. Yeah, Bahamut there only had 250 hit points.
Yeah, so each spot has its vanilla HP value, and in the newest version of the randomizer, the amount of HP a boss has is equal to the amount of EXP you get after EXP splitting on the party. There are scaling options in the randomizer itself as well if you wanted to do something a little bit harder or a little bit easier.
Also, the abilities and spells and things that the bosses have are also scaled. Oh, go in the canal here. What do you think?
Think a
Rod
fire
break
rod.
enough?
Yeah, we're gonna try it, and if not, we'll come back in a few minutes. Zerker should not get a turn off here. Berserker is really slow.
Yeah, what's also really slow is listening to this guy talk. So we're gonna try and just kill him and skip that whole couple minutes of waiting around for him to leave. It all depends on if this fire rod does, what is it, like 650 here?
Yep.
Should do that
650.
much.
Yep.
Oh yeah. That is huge ability points for everyone. I think it gives everyone 200 ability points. It's amazing.
Get a little bit of a refund here.
One rod for another.
The Venom Rod, of course, is just a single target versus the Fire Rod, which is not. So it'd be a little bit downgrade. But if we find if we find a certain boss known as Apocalypse or Azumagia, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. We will cross that path when we get it. If we get it. This is a randomizer. I have no idea where it is. There is Geomancer's best bell in a... or arguably best bell in a random crate.
The Tinkerbell used to be super high tier, but then we realized it's almost useless, so it should be much lower tier. And now Fiery has actually equipped it, so maybe we'll see a bell attack, which is pretty rare.
Yeah, maybe in the time that I decide not to throw a fire rod, but we will see. I'm just going through the opening checks here. They're pretty low HP, as you can tell. Having rods is pretty standard way to get through an opening. Speaking of fire rods.
Oh, perfect. My gosh. Marigine always starts weak to fire, so she's done. Those rod breaks might have to even go back and buy more. And got another rod in exchange.
Just lots of rods. Do a little bit more shopping here. Not looking for too much, honestly. One of the items I'm looking for are either a Thornlit or a Giant's Glove, both of which are going to be able to be used to underflow my magic stat on a Berserker. Berserker has a native minus 23 magic, and then if you put a minus 5 magic item such as the Giant's Glove or the Thornlit, you get below 0, and the game doesn't know what to do with that. So what can happen is you can have basically a completely maxed out... I don't know why I just bought that. Maxed out magic stat just by underflowing. Which is much easier to do in the randomizer, because you can actually find a Giant's Glove in a shop, versus in the vanilla game, it is the rare steal of Azumagia in the Void.
Yeah, it's one of the joys of the randomizer is that being able to underflow your Berserker fairly easily. We're not there yet, but there's a very good chance we'll be able to do it in this seed at some point soon.
So yes, if you wanted to see a Berserker give quad 9s to most enemies, you can certainly find that. There's our Phoenix Downs. Always important to have Phoenix Downs, especially when you have no way to revive anybody. We've also seen some very interesting summons, I will say, in World 1. We've seen Sildra and we've seen Odin.
Those are two of among the best, and you usually don't see them so early, but that's what happens when you roll a 4-job seed, right? You see the amazing stuff for the other jobs instead.
Yeah, so if you play a normal 4-job seed, you'll get abilities, you'll get jobs from these random checks, but without that, you basically will only get items and spells. So you get a pretty good shift in the weighting, just because it has to populate all the checks. We did see that tool path is Path to the Void. Path to the Void is basically telling us it's going to be required to beat the game. It is like the Way of the Hero and Ocarina of Time randomizer. So that means we have to go beat the Antlion spot in World 3. In order to get to World 3, because we haven't talked about this, we started with World 1 and World 2 open. That's sort of the standard race settings that we use. In order to get to World 3, which is where the Void is, you have to go through Extef in his castle, and in order to get up there, you need both the anti-barrier and the bracelet. So we're ultimately looking for 5 key items.
and we'll be headed to Tool Pass maybe first thing once we get access to World 3, but that's a little ways off from right now. So it's just, it's nice to have the hint. That's one that we'll just have to remember. I've been writing them down. Fiery has a really good memory for them. Oh, look at that. And we see a bell attack, Tinkerbell attack for the kill.
I have a good memory as long as you're not trying to get me to remember where items are in shops. I am notoriously bad at remembering where things are in shops.
Well, the beauty of 4-job mode is usually you have the cash to buy whatever you want at the shop the first time you go, and then you don't have to go back. But yeah, every once in a while you get you can struggle with that, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue for this run, I don't think.
So one of the bigger things about Blue Mage, you can find the blue spells in pots or in the shops, and that's a good way to learn it, but you can also learn it natively. And that gives us a pretty big advantage. It can be a little bit of a time waster, especially if you end up finding the blue spell immediately after you learn it naturally. But there are certain spells I personally like to go out of my way for. Be seeing a couple of them coming up, actually. We're going for the catapult, which a lot of people like to put off. It's only 2000 HP up here. It's a sort of a middling tier check for World 1. I like to do it because it gets me access, or it gets me right near Crescent Island and gets me right next to where Dark Flames are, which is where I'm going to learn some moves here. We get our first Greg sighting.
Yes, Greg is up in the air on this, what we call the catapult check. And Gilgamesh 4 is really fast, but luckily he only has 2,000 hit points here, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue to beat him.
No. If I'm lucky, I'll learn maybe some useful Blue Mage spells. That is not one of them.
It's not a useful one. It is a Blue Mage spell. It's just not the one that you want. And another Tinkerbell kill.
Gotta love it. We get another key item.
Some bait there, sandworm bait. Interesting.
Gotta visit the Black Chocobo here. Don't have to, but we have to anyways. Required. Get some Kaiser Knuckles. That is very nice to have. Very strong boost to strength. Also known as something that will probably go on my Berserker at some point. Or Mystic Knight. We'll find out.
Ooh, there's a couple nice blue spells. Aqua Rake, 8x damage versus desert types. That's really good for the Sandworm. If and when we face it.
Absolutely, they'll do 7,000 to 8,000 damage to a Sandworm, which if anyone's played Final Fantasy V, and particularly if they've ever done a 4-job Fiesta where they're dealing with 4 Berserkers against Sandworm, well, you know how bad that fight can be.
Yeah,
but the constant counters will work.
This is Black Flame Island because it's actually looks like a flame. Only one encounter here, Black Flames. So we're trying to learn Dark Shock. We just learned it. It doesn't even have to hit the Blue Mage in the randomizer. Everyone has learning innately, so it just speeds up your Blue Magic natural learning in the rando, which is pretty nice.
Actually,
one rod break, and the Black Flames are down, and we have learned Dark Shock.
Yes. Dark Shock is one of the few keys to something known as Death by Math. Basically, Math is a great way to kill most of your enemies with Blue Mage. Is the long and short of it. There are a number of level-based spells, and in the Super Nintendo version, it did not matter whether or not they were immune to death or something like that. It would basically override it. So things like L2 Old would always give it. Sorry, would always give old status if they were divisible by 2 and didn't have a wall up. Things like L5 Doom will kill any enemy divisible by 5, regardless of whether or not it is actually vulnerable to Doom. So you can expect to see quite a bit of abuse of death by math from me in general.
So far, the enemies have had such low hit points that rod breaking has been the easy method, but as they get to having higher hit points, with death by math is going to sort of become the method of choice in many cases.
Yes. All it requires are a couple of spells out of your way and some timing, really. Or spamming. Everyone is level 15, which is good. We're actually going to want to kill somebody off here, knock them down, just so they don't actually get levels from this fight.
Yep, this is a setup that Fiery is going to do so that we will just have one level 15 character, and then we can go learn level 5 Doom, right after this fight, because it's nearby. Oh no, it's Omni time though. Maybe not here. Omniscient is sort of a notorious boss in both vanilla and in the randomizer. You just might want to come back later when we have better tools to deal with him. Yeah.
We have Era too. It wouldn't take too long, but I'm just not really set up for it. And there are better things
And
I can do.
also, the Berserker taking any turns at all is a problem against him. So now we know where Omni is. We can be a little more prepared when we go back later.
Oh, did I skip a giant spell? This is why I have chat. We cannot wield
Thanks,
a power
chat.
staff. There we are. That's
Ooh,
one of the
there's-
things I was looking for.
Really? Wow, what amazing timing on that.
We saw a giant skull that I just kind of glanced over. Apparently. There you are. We just need a rune axe now. Or a nerf
Yeah,
hammer.
we haven't. I don't think we've been
I've already
to
been to the
Kuza
shop.
Castle. It might be worth checking there.
It was probably worth checking about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, Karnak Meteor, Path to the Void, that's nearby.
Yep, and that was my next stop.
Yeah.
Here, let me get that Kaiser Knuckles on my Mystic Knight.
This spot has 2,500 hit points. Should be pretty doable. We also know that Omni's not here. But maybe Fiery might take a little extra time to try and kill somebody off to set up for learning the level 5 Doom spell as well.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna have to... I don't think a Thunder Rod will kill. It might, that's...
No, it won't kill. You can use it.
Yeah.
But it will kill those launchers, which is kind of nice.
That's the important part. I'm gonna kill off my Geomancer.
Nice. Tinkerbell being useful again. Killing oneself. I don't think I've ever seen that animation where the bell hits yourself. That was really funny.
I don't think I have either. I cannot use arrow spells here because Soul Cannon is immune to wind, but is weak to thunder, which is why I used the Bolt 2 Blade with my Mystic Knight.
The swing by Galuf is going to hit pretty darn hard. Triple damage, ignoring defense, and that kills the Soul Cannon. And Lena is dead as intended.
By vanilla and everything else. Lena getting killed every fight is basically... It's half a meme in the randomizer community or Karuda community, but it's basically true.
This is
gets
working out
poisoned.
really nicely for progression. We just got the Ifrit's Fire. We're going into the library to learn level 5 Doom, and then we know that the Karnak key item is on the path to the void, so we can full clear the library right afterwards. And there's a pot in here for restoring everyone's back to full. So very good, nice progression in this seed here.
Have we got a moment for a quick donation?
Absolutely.
Number went up. We have a donation from not Maddie. It definitely wasn't me. For $6, saying those aquamarine dice looking beautiful for my Mathrock collection. And as the villain, I must make number less satisfying for you all to fix. Split this between 3 different Link to the Past file name bids. $3 for Maddie, $2 for Best, and $1 for Host.
So we are just waiting for this page 64 to eventually use L5 Doom. Sometimes
I was
it likes...
it would happen during the donation reading, but no.
And this is why I saved.
Oh, darn you, Zerker. Even with a low damage weapon, the page 64 book demon did not cooperate.
Pretty rare for it to not use it after 6 turns, but it happens.
Yeah, that's really rare.
We go again. Sometimes it cooperates and sometimes it doesn't.
Thing that we are also hoping for is that the fight ends after this monster dies, because once in a while you can get the full book that you have to read through and kill every page.
And we do see that.
Oh my gosh. I forgot about Commentator's Curse. I shouldn't have mentioned it.
It would have been fine if it happened in the last run, but no. I mean, if I wanted to learn Moonfleet, I could.
So this is just going to take a little bit longer. We need to win the fight to actually learn level 5 Doom, so you can't run away. And of course, we have to face every page on the way up and now back on the way down before this particular low chance encounter ends.
Was it 3 out of 16? I think for this encounter.
Don't know. Maybe we talked about that recently, but I forgot what the answer is. It's something like that, though. That makes sense.
But as much time as this wastes, it is going... Unless there's L5 Doom available in a shop or in Kuza Castle that I just haven't bothered going into right now, this should save quite a bit of time. Because again,
really
the fastest way to kill an enemy is to not have to drain its HP.
Saw something about Walls Tower Key World 2?
Yep, that was it. I'm going to save out here just in case we run into something that I can't particularly beat too well in the first spot of the library. There are 2 bosses here. The first one does not require any key items, and the second one requires Ifrit's Fire. So in vanilla, that would be the Ifrit spot and then the Biblos spot. We got a couple of chests here. I don't think they're going to be worth anything, but, you know, wouldn't take too long to go around there.
It's really nice to be able to do the library all in one shot. We say in the community that we don't like to double dip the library, so when you get an early Ifrit's Fire, you can just zip right through, so why not?
You had to actually... Fortunately, counters are a thing sometimes.
Yeah, Twin Tanya's counters are 1 in 3 chance, and unfortunately, we rolled the 1/3 both times. Now, you could hold out, but Berserker makes it a little bit annoying because it keeps attacking Twin Tanya. Once Twin Tanya changes forms, it is vulnerable to our new level 5 death spell.
It is, but... I mean, I could wait. The Berserker is slow enough.
Yeah, either method is going to be a little bit slow, unfortunately. I know what you're saying. You might have wanted to just kill it with damage. So, either way...
I mean, I can kill something else with damage.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh, Tinkerbell does it again. MVP of the run so far, Tinkerbell.
The advantage here, actually, I'm not entirely sure if we're gonna, so there's boss scaling in various spots. I'm not entirely sure if this is one of those spots that I'm going to get Mind Blast on. I would like to learn Mind Blast.
Would be nice. Off top of my head, I don't know either whether you'll get it.
Nope. So we're gonna get a couple of wind sloshes, or breath wings in this case. That does percentile damage, so... We're gonna do a little trick. We're gonna have our cursor hovering over Twintania. When that cursor drops, Twintania has switched phases, and it's gonna be vulnerable to a lot of things, including L5 Doom. This happens... You can do this with Twintania, you can do this with Carbuncle, who switches phases after the third attack.
Well, the first reward in the library is not something that we care about, can't use it, but we'll be headed to the back of the library where we know something important will be given to us, whether it's a key item or a tablet.
It was Ice 3 Black Magic. No use. Unfortunately.
Yeah, the black magic. Here you plant.
I'll go expect this to be your best here.
Yeah, these flowers have a lot of magic resistance, and I guess the main plant itself as well.
As you can tell by that Rumbell. Or the Tinkerbell.
Okay, well, the damage from the Mystic Knight I think will eventually get us through, but we could be running, probably gonna have to use about all the Aqua Rakes we have the MP for.
That's probably doing nothing too. I don't think your opponent is vulnerable to Charm.
No, but the flowers are. They can be charmed. The timing of turns, though, isn't really working out for that. So, you know, bell damage and even the will-o-wisp damage is so variable that it could potentially bust through and do a little bit of damage. But it's hard to say. Back to the old breaking of rods method, always strong.
There we go.
Good timing. Good timing on that kill. So the flowers never came back. It's annoying to have to kill them after the main plant dies, and that's the third tablet.
Yep, so one of the items we do need to beat the game, we know we're going to get a tablet or something that leads to a tablet from Tool Pass, because that is after Extef's Castle, so that can only be a thing. So if we do actually find one more tablet, there is a good chance we're going to be, before we get into World 3, there's a good chance we know how the endgame is going to play out here.
Yep. We are still looking for access to Extef Castle, which is required, and it requires both the anti-barrier and the bracelet, so we are looking for those key items in Worlds 1 or 2. Catastrophe in the desert.
Makes sense.
Sure, yeah. Maybe it will use Quicksand. That's one of its early abilities. Instead of using Earthshaker, which would be way too strong early in the game, you get Quicksand, another sort of Earth ability. It's the sort of scaling that there is in the randomizer to make some of the end-game bosses much less powerful if you run into them early.
I could try to Dark Shock, Death by Math kill this, but it's just going to be faster to do damage here.
Yeah, at this level, with only one blue magic user, wonder, I think Catastrophe's Magic Evade does scale up and down, so there's a chance, but I'm with you on probably not worth going for it. And there's a victory, another Tinkerbell kill. I should really be keeping a tally because there's been way more than I expected already.
That's because both you and I expected 0.
Yes. Oh my gosh, and it's the sub key.
Which
We're
is,
opening up a lot.
yeah, that actually does mean that Tool Pass we're not going to be blocked from anything in Tool Pass, which is really nice. Not sure why I'm saving here. So Steamship is another double check here. We have the Steamship itself, and then we have Burning Karnak. I still have not entered World 2.
Well, there's just been a lot of World 1 key items, and the World 1 checks tend to be kind of quick. Running through this steamship is one of the slowest and most tedious things, but running through the Karnak escape afterwards and the loot that's in there is really fast, so it all sort of evens out.
Yeah, one of the big things about the randomizer is, like a lot of Final Fantasy V or Final Fantasy randomizers, there is no forced encounters. I know FFR is not one of those, but Final Fantasy V encounters are definitely toggleable. Otherwise, this would take significantly longer.
Yeah,
The other thing is that,
turn on if we need them, like you did with Black Flames.
and I may yet again in Extuf's castle.
Yes, I have a feeling I know what that would be for. We'll talk about that when the time comes. Our friend, the Cray Claws here, weak to Thunder, so Mystic Knight has some serious power against it.
Yeah, Mystic Knight here is going to do almost all of our damage.
I think Cray Claw's like level 22 or something, so it can be death by mask, but it's not.
It's not worth
super
it.
fast. Yeah, there's just not that many hit points here. Mystic Knight is faster.
One day I will give the Zerker a hammer.
Yeah, we just gotta find something. That's
Oh,
all.
I have one.
Oh
I've
yeah,
had
you
one
wanna?
for the I got a Warhammer from one of the rewards.
Yeah, a lot of times we don't want the Zerker hitting too hard because we don't know what boss is coming up next, and there are certain bosses that
That's
require some skill rather than smash.
So this is an area of the game that you have one shot through. This is the Burning Karnak. Once you escape from here, you no longer can access any of these treasure chests. We are more interested in the 3 trap chests than we are anything else. However, 2 of the chests are in very out-of-the-way places, but this is the reason why we like trap chests, because they are scaled considerably. We just got the running shoes, which is an automatic haste status. It is what I would consider the most broken accessory in the game. And I'm trying to think what else would be on that same level, and it's not coming to me. So I'm going to say running shoes is probably your number 1 accessory.
Really nice to have. Really, the decision is, who do you give it to? A lot of people would say Mystic Knight because it takes that extra turn to set up the spell blades. Also, Blue Mage is just so good that more turns on Blue Mage is always good too.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna check the ones up here, though. It's quick enough, and money is always good. There's some chance that I get some good blue spells up here as well.
Yeah, the Karnak escape loot is pretty decent, even the stuff that's not monster in a box. I've gotten some really good stuff out of here from time to time. This, if nothing else, that stuff sells well. But Siren, a very easy boss. Maybe we can get another. No, I don't
No.
think Tinkerbell didn't do it this time.
Well, we might not get it with a Tinkerbell, but I do have a nice story from the Liam Foundation that just came in, if we want to have time for that.
Absolutely. Well, we did just get one of our 2 required key items in to get X Stuff's castle, but other than that, now just be running around. Maybe go back to Omniscient and mute Omniscient, and then that will take a little bit. So
All
go right
right.
ahead.
So while we're doing that, it would appear just a week ago they were finally able to secure an apartment for one of their trans clients who had been homeless for well over a year. They asked volunteers to donate furniture to help make it a home. One of them took an old dresser and repainted it to match with a trans flag just before donating it to him. It was just the thought and such a cute example of the ways that there are many volunteers in the community take care of themselves and others. And it's just wonderful. I run very small communities here that, help out trans youth, things like Warhammer and such. Not huge, but it's the little things in this community that really make the difference. The little things.
I mean to put US in this fight. It is certainly good to hear what's going on with the community as well. So keep those donations rolling in. We're going to try to get Omniscient not to be able to speak anything. Omniscient is one of those bosses that if you were to do anything other than pure magic attacks, it likes to reset the fight for you. This can be very problematic, especially with a Berserker, but luckily we have Mute Blade, which overrides everything. Omniscient will also cast Flare as his last turn. By muting Omniscient, that is no longer a thing. He may have to kill this Berserker, though. I didn't think the Berserker was going to be that quick.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. The Berserker actually got a turn off before Mystic got 2 off. It was, I think that having to defend on the other 2 people also cost a little bit of time before it could get back to... Galuf is kind of slow. That could be the issue as well, Galuf being the Mystic Knight, because he's a little slow. So yeah, this is a floor Zerker strat, as we call it. We don't want it to be swinging at Omniscience, so we're going to take it down. We can lift it back up during the fight once we've got that mute set, though, so Zerker will get the experience and such.
And if we've got another moment, just a quick reminder that for the upcoming run for Link to the Past, we have name bids and sprite bids, both very available and very easy to overtake the nonsense I put in.
I thought it was not you who put it in.
I mean, yeah, it definitely wasn't me. It says so right on the donation sheet, not Maddie.
Yeah. This should go a lot smoother now. Now that we won't have a, very angry Bartz.
Omniscient take 3, pretty typical in the randomizer to have to come back a time or 2 before you're really ready to take on this boss. But he's about to get muted, and that's going to really make him basically unable to do anything that he wants to do, because he likes to cast spells. Every single spell he wants to cast is blocked by Mute Blade, which has ridiculously long duration.
Yeah, surprisingly, for Omniscient, really.
Yeah, if you were
Luckily for
to
us.
use the white magic mute spell and hit Omniscient, it would barely last a round of all of your characters, if they had full ATB, could attack for a round, but then you'd have to recast it again. But Mute Blade, they could probably attack for like 5 rounds before it would run out.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things here, Omniscient also has innate shell and armor, meaning that any damage he takes is halved. And so it can be a very, very long, drawn-out fight if you have no way to dispel it.
All these wind is his weakness, so that arrow 2 doing 420 would have done twice that if he didn't have shell status. But there, that took care of him. Really nice to get that boss taken care of, and he was not required. He just gave a Magus hat.
Nah, I just figured I wanted to clear World 1.
Sure.
We have 2 more, I think. Yeah, 2 more things in World 1. 3? I haven't done Dwarf Mountain, but I'm gonna wait for that.
Okay.
Trying to switch things around here just to make sure that people learn things. Who has... I do not want my Berserker to have running shoes.
By the way, I don't know if Fiery is using it, but a new feature in the randomizer is we do have LR switching to go in between characters now. That's like one of the there's a patch that someone made out there, probably a Japanese hacker made or something. So it's in the randomizer now. If you want to include it, it's an option on seed generation. Wing Raptor, first boss in the game, but not necessarily the easiest. Vulnerable to Doom, but is not a level that we can really death by math it, so we're gonna just kill it with damage.
Easy enough.
Yeah, this is still a low hit point spot.
Bosses are shuffled, items are shuffled. Most things are shuffled, shops are shuffled. The only thing that isn't shuffled are the locations of where everything is. In terms of bosses can be found in the same place.
Another recent change to the randomizer is this check right here, the Waltz Meteor that Fiery is doing. Used to only have 1,500 hit points, now it has 3,000. It used to give a lot of experience, and it still gives a good amount because 3,000 hit points becomes 3,000 experience in this case. But it was sort of an exploit that people took advantage of in the past, and we sort of evened it out to sort of match the other meteors. So you might have to find a different exploit instead. Do we not have any? We do. Maiden Kisses.
Yep. We're just gonna revive or make our Mystic Knight more useful because Mystic Knight is the character who is going to be taking the most turns.
Holly Carnasso's standard. This is a void boss, but I don't think this script has changed at all, really, because this boss doesn't do anything too dangerous unless you let it go all the way to the end of its script, where it will drop wholly on you, and hopefully we'll be able to defeat it before it gets there. There it goes.
And Holy is a single target, so it's not really dangerous either. If you really want to make Holly Carnassus dangerous, you just decide to summon against her and do damage via summons, and then you will just die.
the counters. Holly does not appreciate summons.
And now we can walk around as a frog for a little bit. Alright, now we can finally go in the world too.
Well, that was some good showcase of World 1 there. We did pretty much everything that was available, and almost everything was available. There's only a few checks that Fiery did not do in World 1. We might not even end up going back there.
Depends. We'll see if the Adamantite shows up. Hey, Wizard Rod. I mean... Bye, Brave Blade.
Might be time for a little selling spree here. Fiery has definitely accumulated a lot of stuff that we can't use, like that Man-Eater is sort of a dancer or freelancer only item and such, and some of this stuff sells for a lot, so get a big infusion of gold here and buy whatever we want in the World 2 shops. Yeah, over 100,000 already.
Hey, there's Golem.
Too bad we can't use Golem. That's a really nice safety spell. ice rods. Can't use the dancer shoes either.
Nope. Nor any stabs, unfortunately.
So now that we're in World 2, there are also 5 hints in World 2. We're heading to the librarian to get a hint from her, and there's also a couple pieces of loot in the back of Surgate Castle here. So I've got to get my notes out for writing down this hint. Pyramid Page, World 1. You didn't get that one yet.
Nope, I do not.
Interesting.
I like the image of the librarian talking to a frog.
Yeah, I mean, frog, running around as a frog anywhere, you might as well, go to Sealed Castle as a frog or,
I am
The
avoiding
frogs.
stealing as much as possible right now. That's why I'm doing all this overworld stuff.
Sounds like a good plan to me. There's another pair of Kaiser Knuckles if we want them.
I have money.
Hmm.
So we did just conclude a 4-job tournament. Dry knows a little bit something about that. Oh, History Falls is path to has the second tablet.
Oh, very nice.
These are not quite the same settings as the 4-job tournament that we had, which was more of a draft style. This was certainly something different. The item tiering has also been changed since then as well. And we're also not using the same settings as part of that. So there are 12 items here. They're all generally pretty high tier. We can take 3 at a time, 3 for each tablet. So I could have came here immediately and taken 3 of these items. But I decided to hold off on it. Which says something when I am going to be taking an air knife.
Yeah, oh, hey, Runax came through last check. That is Underflow Berserker Online. Assassin Dagger is in here, just like it is in Vanilla. That was nice. And Fiery can take 3 more things, might as well, but there's not that much great stuff left for this team.
There you are. Don't know if I'm ever going to equip the Genji armor, but sure. I can't use Dragon Whisker. That's the Dragon Whip, but
I don't think we'll be coming back to Kuza anymore in this seed, but it's nice to just go in there once. That's a good time save.
yes, it was useful, I would say. Alright, we're gonna underflow our Berserker.
By the way, Runax Underflow has to be done on Galuf. If you want to just use the Giant Glove. If you want to do it on someone else, you'd also need the Thornlip, but Galuf can do it with just 1 item, which is really handy for him. And now he's going to hit really hard.
Wasn't sure whether or not Magic Sword was gonna give any innate magic, so wanted to get that off of the Berserker. And we can do the Assassin's Dagger.
Yeah, that's a really nice weapon to be able to Spellblade, although we'll just have to be careful about those undead enemies.
When has that ever cost me quite a bit of time? We're gonna go visit some Moogles, or a Moogle. Maybe eventually we'll visit a lot of Moogles. We know that this is the Big Bridge key. So we know that this is a key item.
That's right, we got the hint that the Moogle Waterway holds the Big Bridge key. This is called the Moogle Waterway. As you can tell, we are being carried by the current. Oh, and another giant squid.
See, I didn't need to buy it.
Oh, and it's another Greg fight. Greg 2, who will buff up after a certain amount of damage. Ooh, wow. 3,200. That is your Runax underflow damage at work. 1 more swing, probably, from Galuf will take out Greg 2, despite him buffing up with Armor Shell and Haste. So, yeah, Galuf Smash is online right now. also online is Greg 2 doing lots of jumping because there we go. That's it.
Figured to not interrupt the music there. Battle of the Big Bridge.
Oh yeah. Also known as Gilgamesh's theme, basically, and Big Bridge key, so we can go to the Big Bridge anytime we want now.
I could get more hints, or I could just decide to go visit Greg 2 in the Greg 2 spot. We'll go there after we do a couple more things here. We're gonna go into more. So this is where our Chicken Knife Brave Blade selection happens in vanilla. Just like in vanilla, we can choose one of the two chests. So generally, unless it's something really amazing, I'll check one, reset, and check the other. And dark matter is completely useless. Great if you have a chemist.
It does sell for a lot, but other than that, yeah, I would not take it for this team.
We do not have money problems in 4-Job Fiesta. Well, in a career day. Crystal armor sells for more anyways, I think. Maybe not.
The dark matter sells for like 15 grand, actually.
Yeah.
That is very different than vanilla, where it sells for like 5 gold. We know the power of dark matter in the randomizer, so it is accordingly adjusted.
Huh, armor and shell in that shop.
Yeah, the best bell was in the shop, but I don't know if it matters all that much for this party to own it. So probably
my Geomancer is going. Well, thank you for that. I knew that was Path to the Void too. My Geomancer very much is going to be blue maging. Speaking of which, give me that soul blade too.
Unfortunate hint here, and more. We already knew that information, and in fact, we knew more than that old pub wizard told us. We know there's a tablet in History Falls already, so unfortunately sometimes the hints, just certain hints, aren't that helpful.
Rune Edge, not bad either.
Do I have a minute?
Absolutely.
All right, there is another $6 donation from Plausible Deniability Maddie. Browsing the Sprite page, there's some nice ones. Gonna pick them up on the cheap. $3 for Breath of the Wild Zelda, $2 for Sky, $1 for Rhea Crescent, if I can pronounce that the name. And we have a $5 from Not Caront, is Maddie may be best host, but Liam is best foundation and should be best Link to the Past file name.
Really giving a challenge to the chat and watchers out there, whoever this mysterious person is.
I liked your Doomsicle buy, or Doomax buy there, just in case we want to go for some death procs. We can set that up.
I think there's only, well, we have Assassin's Dagger. I think there's like one boss I would consider putting on that Doomsicle for.
It would actually work on this one, but I think that a big swing by Gallop is just going to end this fight. Or, oh, get the Assassin instead. Mystic Knight too fast. Too fast for that slow Zerker to get his swing in.
We still do have to sit through the dialogue that Remu gives Ifrit, despite us never seeing Ifrit. Ooh, that is really nice. So, as I was saying before, the fastest way to kill bosses generally is to not actually take its HP. Break is certainly one of those spells.
Ooh, we're gonna have to go to Barrier Tower. At least we have the sub key. That's a good hint.
So Breakblade trivializes quite a few bosses. Again, unlike a lot of Final Fantasy games, status immunities are optional for a lot of bosses, so we will definitely take advantage of that. Break is also known as Stone, for those of you unfamiliar.
Inflicting petrification with the Break Blade is going to be good for the entirety of this run. There will be multiple bosses weak to it. This boss is not weak to it, but its minions are. So those commanders, however Fiery wants to deal with them, there's multiple ways. They're weak to all sorts of status things. Oh, Zerker, you have to hit to do damage. That would have one-shot one of the commanders for sure, but Galuf missed.
I know for those of you who know math in this game, it's being a little bit disappointing with my attack selection here. Shiva is level 11, so a Dark Shock into L5 Doom will kill Shiva.
Also, Shiva is in the back row, so even though we're using Fire 2 Spellblade, our damage does get cut a little bit until those commanders are gone. And now they're gone. And there's a big
Shiva's
swing from the Zerker.
Hey, Moogle.
Ooh, nice.
So we had to go to the Moogle Waterway to get the Big Bridge Key. And the Big Bridge Key gave us the way to visit the Moogles. Makes perfect sense.
Moogle Suit is purely a loot item. There are 7 items in the Moogle village that we can grab, and hopefully for a 4-job team you get 1, or if you're really lucky, 2 things that you can actually use out of there.
But we are right by where Barrier Tower is. We just need the sub key. So we're going to get that out of the way first. There are 2 trap chests in here as well. There is a setting to shuffle key items into trap chests. We're not playing with that, but it does exist. Let's see.
Now, that's a really fun setting to try if people are interested in trying this randomizer and weren't aware of it already. It's definitely one of the ones you want to check out, as long as you know where the trap chests are. I believe the wiki for the Career Day randomizer does say where the trap chests are. Ooh, nice big swing by the Berserker. The thing to watch out for, of course, is Assassin Dagger proc on the kill, but it didn't happen because red dragons are undead.
Yep. I was gonna ask how much you think. What do you think the odds are that's gonna happen? So we got 2 really strong knight swords here. We got the Defender and the Ragnarok. The Ragnarok I prefer over the Brave Blade because it seems like the Brave Blade misses every single time I swing with it. Unfortunately, we can't actually wield either of those. So we're just gonna have to live with that being in our inventory and then selling it.
Well, here's another try. Assassin Dagger could ruin this fight. Well, not ruin it exactly, but you know what I mean. Nice chonk by Galuf. I like to see that. Got him again. Very good. 2 red dragons. Those are the ones that we wanted to see here, probably, anyway.
It's like a dark suit. It's better than the leather armor I'm currently wearing.
A dark suit is perfectly fine for the rest of the seed, really. Although a Mirage Vest would be ideal, I guess.
Alright, so we got the top barrier tower, which is actually a pretty high-ranking boss, so hopefully there isn't a Leviathan here. But this, on the other hand, will be killed immediately, because Karabos is level 20, I think.
This is one of those... He's level 5, actually. This is one of those randomizer only strats. There's no way you can have L5 Doom in vanilla when you face Karl Boss so early. But in the randomizer, you can have Blue Mage and you can have... Oh, and that's full access to Exdeath Castle bracelet.
What is interesting is we're not in go mode yet. We are not too far away, but we're not quite there.
We know there's a tablet in Waterfall, but we don't have the page to get into the waterfall. And then the last tablet, I don't think we have much info about yet.
So the question is, does Tool Pass lead to the Falls page?
Right. Or does it just lead to something else? Does it give a tablet? There's still some questions, potential questions.
At least I'll learn
Stalker.
Mind Blast.
Yeah. Stalker, not the most fun boss. But we do have Sleep Spellblade, also the Berserker. Oh. You kind of wanted that Berserker to hit first try because all targets are valid on the first hit.
Yeah, so the idea here is to let the Berserker get one hit off and then just start sleeping these. If we get lucky, we'll choose the right one to sleep.
There you go.
Now, I'm hoping to learn Mind Blast for this fight as well.
Yeah, didn't get any opening Mind Blasts, I don't think.
Yeah, if we don't, it's not the end of the world, but it's not great. Well, we can just try it again. Let's use this one.
Good guess, and that's actually the killing blow, although with Stalker, sometimes
You never know.
it takes extra turns before it dies.
The Stalker fight is held together with duct tape, much like the Sandworm fight. Fun fact, if you do Death by Math against Sandworm, you just soft lock your game.
Ooh, wow, we just got a chicken knife. A little bit of a downside to it with this party, but the damage is so good that I like to use it anyway.
Yep, well, we're not going to use it quite yet. In fact, I am going to take this Rinox off.
Fiery, I don't think I've ever gotten a chicken knife as a boss reward before, have you?
I want to say maybe from Fork Tower.
Okay, sure, yeah. That's sort of a new thing that has been changed in the randomizer recently. There's just more variety of boss rewards than there used to be. They used to all be like tier 4 rewards or something.
Yeah, it was bugged to be all tier 4, and it was also bugged so that you would only get equipment and no abilities. That has since been fixed.
And we're looking on the Magic Dragon floor, and Fiery got a nice encounter here with 3 Magic Dragons. They can use a variety of blue spells, like Arrow 3, which we already have. They can use Guard Off, which we don't care about, and they can use Level 2 Old, which is what we're looking for.
You know, I didn't actually check my levels. I'm hoping someone is level 2.
Yeah, hopefully. I didn't notice either. This can take a while because the Magic Dragon only uses it's like a 1/3 chance on its 3rd or 4th turn to use Level 2 Old, so it doesn't come up all that often.
It is the 4th turn.
4th turn, yeah.
Yep. The 4th turn is a 1/3 chance to do one of those 3 blue spells, so it's a 1 in 12, realistically. Can take a little bit.
Took the axe off the Berserker, or otherwise it would be totally one-shotting these dragons. So good plan there.
Yeah, one of the things I could have done was pick up a dancing dagger and try to. No one is.
No, nobody is the right level. How unfortunate. Well, we can come back. You can get this fight in the skull room.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna
put it on there or something.
That's why I put Breakblade on.
Okay, yep. I'm just saying, you know, after we kill a boss on the way up, somebody will probably be an even level.
Someone got it there.
Yeah, maybe you got it there. Oh yeah, so Ferris can just learn it. We just do it again. Do the same thing again right here. You hope to get a Magic Dragon encounter and learn it this time.
I was hoping to get the 3, but...
Now we just have to rely on RNG of one Magic Dragon to use the spell that we want.
And some people may be thinking, wait, why are you even spending the time here? It's because math is really powerful in this game, and L2 Old is incredibly powerful when actually combined with Dark Shock and L5 Doom. The X-Def fight in the top of this castle has 32,000 HP. It wouldn't be too much of a problem with this party, but it's a fight that will last about 10 seconds from the start to the end. And there are several bosses in which case the best way to get rid of a boss is to use L2 Old into L5 Doom. Shote is notoriously terrible to fight normally.
Yeah, so this is not just for Castle X-Death, which some of you might be familiar with, but it's potentially for future bosses as well. And so it can be a nice time save, despite this, learning it potentially taking a while.
There is a race that so about a year and a half ago, I don't know what time is anymore since the COVID pandemic, but it was a finals match between Bowie and I on the 4-job Castle X-Def tournament where I sat for this fight for like a good 5-6 minutes to get L2 Doom, or L2 Old, so I could L5 Doom X-Def in his castle, and I think I won that by about a minute or so, because it wasn't nearly an ideal party to beat X-Def in his castle.
If I saw that match, which I might be thinking of it, or I might be thinking of another one, I do recall, though, that, sometimes your team going into the Castle X-Death fight is kind of weak, and it's possible that Bowie might have wiped multiple times because he didn't have power to win, and so that ended up being to your advantage. I don't know, though, if I'm thinking of the right one.
It was a very interesting tournament setting, and I'm just... well, sometimes this happens where luck doesn't matter.
Next turn, we have a chance... Oh no, wait a minute, I didn't think fight was an option. Maybe it's an option every turn.
It's this turn, I believe.
Okay, so coming up, fingers crossed, 1/3 chance. There it is! Eris, thank you. So, full death by math possibilities are now online. Well done.
So the important thing about math here, and particularly the way I like to set it up, is that I need 2 characters that know blue that act one right after another. That is indeed what we have with this current setup. Also, the fact that we have a Geomancer means that we do not take damage from these fire tiles or any other damage tiles as well. So sort of a negability of the Geomancer.
Geomancer is really useful in this castle and some other places too. When we run through the pyramid, we can run on top of the spikes and not have to worry about getting poisoned, and can run over those poison flowers on North Mountain and stuff. Be cool.
Trench as well being notorious because you run over fire until you are right in front of the boss and you have no way to heal.
Of course, the most lava-filled area. How come I didn't think of that one? But yeah, for sure.
We have 2 more bosses in X-Def's castle. We have the Carbuncle spot, which you can see to the left there, and then we have the Gilgamesh 4 spot. Which both can be pretty difficult. Gonna risk it. And we'll put the chicken knife on our Mystic Knight.
This Carbuncle spot has 15,000 hit points, but the Greg 4 spot has 30,000, so... especially for that latter one, we might want to do some sort of death by math to make it happen more quickly, if possible. The Gargoyles. Weak to break, which is really nice.
When it happens.
Yeah. We're also hoping, of course, to kill them close together in time, because they can revive each other with full HP. So Fiery is waiting for them to take their turns. Oh no, Chicken Knife let us down.
25% chance.
Yeah, Yeah. Meanwhile, though, Galuf is weakening them. We could even wait for him to kill one and then take out the other, something like that. We'll see how
Ooh,
it
that
goes.
gargoyle did not get a attack in between there.
Oh, yeah. So it took its turn to revive the other, but that's okay. We can still instant kill it with one Breakblade hit. There it goes, and as long as we get our turn, we should be fine here. No! Chicken knife, no!
This is what I meant about risking chicken knife.
Yeah, that's
It's a
unlucky. Couple 1 in 4 chances in a row missed.
Or a 1 in 4 chance hit, really.
Yeah.
I believe, if I'm remembering the Voxanadu run correctly, I'm supposed to be blaming Maddie for that.
Hey, I didn't do anything this time. I'm not commentating. I'm just here.
Your presence can have an influence.
Hey, you were the one that said it, not me.
I mean, I did. That's just my record with Final Fantasy runs. My LADX runs are fine.
Okay.
LADX is a game I haven't played in a very long time.
Well, I mean, you
Kinda
can tune
hoping
in
for
on Sunday to
another-
watch me break it. So we've got lovely shows coming up over the next little bit. Following the Link to the Past randomizer, which, I mean, if you're going to let me win all those sprite slots, I'll take them. And then we have Time Spinner before I get to finish my break, or my shift. So look forward to those, and then we'll be setting off for other such things for the late night block.
Should be an exciting watch. Look forward to that.
Minotaurus hits hard. I think our team hits harder, but we might have to do a little bit of healing and a little bit of reviving. Galuf's swings are really nice. Underflow Rune Axe, basically doubling the damage of a chicken knife. You know you've got something strong if you can do twice as much as the chicken knife.
Yeah, the important part here is that we need at least 2 characters alive at the end, because Minnow will use Holy, and unlike Vanilla, actually has the MP to do so.
Yes, indeed. The randomizer scales Minnow's MP up. So in the beginning, if you fight him in one of the first few spots, he won't have the MP for Holy, but every spot after that he will. And as you can see, he uses it on death. And oh, Galuf, you did so well, but you don't get the experience from this fight.
Okay, so we're just in go mode. Okay.
Yeah, amazing. Falls page is what we need, where we'll be going to Tools Pass and following whatever chain that leads us on. And that should be it. So we have really good info right before we get to World 3.
And this is kind of why I like full clearing before I know I'm in go mode, just in case something like this happens. It speeds up the endgame considerably. Particularly notable when you skip something and it turns out to be your key to go mode. Fork could still be required.
And if Fork had 2 key items, then it could actually still lead us down one incorrect pathway to the final tablet. But barring that, the chances of that are pretty low. But barring that, we pretty much in no mode, if not even go mode.
Anyways,
Nice
Staff in
timing.
his castle is level 66. L2 old is therefore effective, and the way old works is every battle tech roughly the level decreases by 1. So if you're good at, looking at battle ticks or figuring out where battle ticks are, pretty simple to just hit your L5 Doom timing. There are run buffering strats as well, if you're less comfortable with hitting those timings, or if you're multiple actions in between. But in this case, I've done that one so much that I don't really need to do it. I've done a lot of Death by Math in the past year and a half. We're gonna go visit
Fiery
these
made it
loops.
Fiery made that look easy. It actually is fairly easy with some practice to do the Castle XF timing. Some of the other ones are a little trickier. Ooh, nice Aegis.
Yes, the Aegis shield I would consider the best shield in the game, just from a block standpoint. Other than that, well, okay, let's just talk. So the two super bosses also have randomized weaknesses. So we can talk to some NPCs, and this one is weak to Toad. Okay. So this one gives you the Shinryu weakness, and the one in Mirage gives you the Omega weakness as well. So we now know what Shinryu is weak to.
Ice and Toad are not that useful for our team. I mean, we might get like Ice 3 Spellblade, but the Shinryu's randomized attacks in the randomizer can be almost as nasty as vanilla.
Well, we have Toad Song.
Oh my gosh. I think that can miss, but that would be amazing if we actually found a use for Toad Song.
Or at least I know it's in, I know where it is if I didn't actually pick it up. I'm curious, did I?
I think we might have gotten hit by it too.
No, doesn't look like it.
Frog Song, yeah. Sorry, it's Frog Song. It's there.
Frog Song, yeah. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, Greg 4, I thought may have done it. I wasn't too sure. So we're taking Boko, the greatest chocobo in Final Fantasy, on a walk here.
A super boss is a possible option if we finish the seed early and have extra time. So there is a chance maybe we would take on super boss. It's up to Fiery and how he feels at the end and how much time is left.
That was a really it's a high roll on a comet. So Atmos, if you watch the 4-job run where there was a blue mage available, we might not even get to see this because that berserker is doing so much damage. But Atmos, I believe, is level 41. So if you dark shock once, that halves his level to 20. And then it becomes vulnerable to L5 Doom, but our Berserker says, I have an underflowed rune axe.
Underflow is the only math that Zerker knows.
It's the only one that it does need to know. Alright,
oh my gosh, no chain for the 4th tablet, just given immediately, so now we're headed to Waterfall for the 3rd tablet, which we already know is there.
I'm sorry.
Must be 2nd tablet there.
I should have gone to the waterfall, like the actual waterfall where the magic lamp is in vanilla. Whoops. We already had Boko. So we're going to History. We know that this is our 2nd tablet here. But you can see, even despite full clearing, just how much of the seed you can really skip. If you get decently lucky. Or pretty lucky anyways.
I'm looking at checks, and so far, I mean, we're gonna have void access only doing 2 checks in World 3, and there's 10 checks in World 3, so and most of them, other than Tool Pass, take a while. So it's a big time save not to have to go searching around.
Yeah, and the way the 4-job mode really works is yeah, you can get loot, but it doesn't really matter all too much. There are certain spells you probably want, but we sort of have them. We have Area 3, which is a big one. The one that I would say we don't have, because I just wasn't lucky to get, was Mind Blast.
Also, shoutouts to Sergeant Math. Sergeant is level 0. And level 5 Doom works on it. In fact, all the level-based spells work on it because video games.
0 is a multiple of everything, and I have a donation that does fall under multiples of 5 if you two are okay with it.
Absolutely, go ahead.
So we have a $10 donation from SVJ. Alice is best sprite for Link to the Past randomizer. Put this donation in for that. #Vorpal.
That wall ring, it might actually be useful as well. We'll find out. There are lots of rings in here.
Yeah, this is the Dungeon of Rings. think you might get a couple rings in here in vanilla too. Yeah, guard ring, and oh, there's level 5 Doom if you didn't learn it naturally, and also Leviathan always drops a wall ring if you bother to fight him down here in vanilla, which most people don't.
Very nice. The real question I have to think of is how painfully do I want to do Neo X stuff? That is always a question when someone gives me Blue Mage.
Yeah, well, you have Breakblade, but I don't think we have the magic lamp, do we?
Nope. I mean, I have Condemn.
Yeah, Condemn does the trick. That's good enough. And then we don't have level 3 Flare yet, although there's a chance.
You think of it like my chances are I'm gonna do Breakblade, Condemn, and then Math.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that'll be fun.
I mean, I was tempted to just do Math the entire way and do a quad L5 Doom. That's a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, so, it is. Though getting everything to hit there can be a little rough.
So this is actually the single fight that I used, or the reason why I learned Death by Math in the first place. Caliphisteri is a level that is visible by 2 and 3 off, and it's such a pain if you don't have the tools to deal with it. We do.
Yeah, she's level 68, and that's a high level, but Harry knows this timing well. Got it first try. 68 down to 65. From the level 2 old, level 5 Doom Death by Math combo. Very nice. That's 40,000 hit points done very quickly, and that's the last tablet.
Yeah, so it was a free fight because we had Mystic Knight with Mute Blade, but it still takes time. But if you find yourself, the particular situation I found myself in was basically no power whatsoever. I required Caliphisteri at more Forest, and that's just not a fun fight. So we have all...
Oh, the drain there. We would have negated that with Mute Blade, but then it would have been, chopping her down with damage. Death by Math saved some time nicely.
So we have 4 tablets. This means that we can go through the entirety of the Void. This first door requires 1 tablet. There are multiple doors in the Void, and they each require 1 more tablet. So if you have 1 tablet, you can get the first 7 chests in here. 2, then you can get through the forest and beat the first boss.
Hey, we do have a question donation.
Okay.
$10 from Windfox asking how much to donate to fight the alternate win condition boss. And I don't know what they're talking about, but you guys might.
So there used to be 3. There are 4 bosses that we call as a portal boss that is an alternate way to beat the game. They are effectively super bosses, and by effectively I mean they are completely super bosses that Clear Tonic, one of the developers of the game, the other one being Carulius, implemented into the randomizer itself. And it's just, if you beat that, you get the end credits as well. With this party, there are a couple bosses that we would be able to beat, and there are a couple bosses that we just would not be able to beat. So it would really depend on who it was, and we don't have Big Guard, which makes a lot of it very difficult.
There's a chance we could get Big Guard in the Void here, though.
Yes. And that gold hairpin is actually going to be pretty huge. Gold hairpin halves the amount of MP that anything costs. Don't know why you didn't have a wizard rod. It's good enough.
Big Guard kind of, almost on its own, gives you a chance to beat any of the portal bosses. Oh, and Timmy is level 20.
As a Windfox is clarifying, just to fight, not necessarily kill.
Oh, I'll fight it. I mean,
they're asking for a donation number. How much do they have to do? How make number go big? Come on, guys.
As much as this underflow Zerker's hitting for.
All right, you heard it. If you can donate however much the underflow Zerker hits for.
You can put the decimal place wherever you want, but
yeah,
I think I saw like a 5,000 there.
All right, you heard them. That's what you want. That's how much you gotta give.
So we'll talk to our friend Omega here. He doesn't move in randomizer. Any guesses on the weakness?
Small chance he could be weak to break. Of course, you have to hit. If you're using a knife, the chance is about 50-50 for actually hitting. And if
It
it's
is
a chicken knife, it could also just say no. Oh, wow, thanks for
Excuse me?
hasting. Oh, but someone who's already hasted.
I'm going to guess he is not weak to break.
I mean,
Yes.
it's just a small chance, but we should get a hit just to be sure. We're getting very unlucky. We're not using an elemental knife, are we?
No, it's just a chicken knife.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now we're very dead. He was nice for a little bit.
Typical Omega, and also pretty nice, yeah, with his opening stuff. So
We had to give it a
Omega
shot.
probably not coming back to do Omega unless we really need to kill a lot of time. If we had
Well, I
gone to
mean-
more and gotten his weakness told to us, then maybe we'd have a better chance. But we did not get the Mirage Radar, so that's not available.
Well, we do have another donation from Windfox. It is of $50. I saw something around 5,000 damage from the Zerker. I think $50 should cover it.
Yeah. I'll give
I
it
guess-
an honest. I'll give it an honest attempt.
All right. And we also have a $10 donation from Old Man Sunshine, a $10 towards Old Man Sprite for Link to the Past randomizer race. Thank you very much both for your donations.
Yes, very generous of you guys. Much appreciated on that for sure.
So when it comes to bosses we never want to see in the void, this is one of them.
Yeah, Necro, looks like Fiery's already got the nice break blade set up, and now it's
Now
kind
we
of the
just-
hard part.
Now I gotta figure out what I want to do here.
He is level 66, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've got much experience going for that, though. I don't think I've done it more than maybe once.
Yeah, I think I've done it once. So he inflicts blind,
I think it'll
which is a
work out.
pain.
Yeah. I think you should go for it.
I just don't know who's first.
Yeah, it's Selena.
That's probably a little too late.
Got him. Perfect first try. More death by math. You love to see it. And so all that hit points, 22,700 hit points is gone in one well-timed death by math.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been... So, doing the damage itself wouldn't have been that difficult because we do have elemental blades, and Necro is weak to every element in the game. So we'd be seeing nearly quad 9s from 2 different sources. The issue is the double attacks will kill basically anybody. And Necro will start double attacking basically everyone in my party. So it's not something I really wanted to deal with, but I could have if it was a requirement to do so.
Yeah, the timing on that one is the same as for Castle X-Step, but you do sort of need to have your team order set up. It worked out nicely for Fiery because he had his 2 blue mage users in a row.
Yeah, that's the trick. Or just run buffer in between it, because I wasn't exactly sure what the timing was, which is why I was doing some running strats there. Wow, you're vanilla.
Oh, is this even?
So there's this nice little spell here called Exploder. You know, this wasn't exactly the greatest idea here. I could have learned Mind Blast from Apocalypse.
Oh, that's alright. We can learn Mind Blast right before the final fight if you want to, by just taking a random battle.
I could.
But yeah, Apocalypse is a blue mage. In fact, he's called Azalmagia in later versions. And he just can't resist trying out that spell that you taught him.
Exploder is a really cool spell, though.
Sure. That's why you have to try it, right? Golem is a boss in the randomizer. The sort of random encounter. All the summons are bosses in the randomizer to sort of fill out all the boss checks. So yeah, Golem, even though he's on our side, is also a fight, and this is a pretty easy fight. As you can see, the dragons turn and actually attack Golem. So basically, just either kill everything on screen or kill the dragons and then wait for Golem to say thanks, and you win the fight.
I was like, I don't have the Assassin's Dagger on. It doesn't look like the Assassin's Dagger. Why is it missing? Unfortunately, the EXP for the Golem fight rests with Golem. So in order to get the EXP from this fight, I would actually have to defeat Golem himself. And in a spot like this, it is probably not going to happen.
Okay, nice save point here in the interdimensional castle allows us to take on some of these high hit point bosses, and then we may head back to that save point again before the final fight.
I'm gonna take on Necro.
Okay.
Love the spot.
Yeah, that'll be another thing for the viewers to see. Also, another save point, and it even unlocks the ability to warp to that point from anywhere in the game. So it's a pretty cool feature of the randomizer.
We also have 55 minutes.
Yeah.
Plenty of time to try portal fights.
Exactly. Or the Shinryu fight. Hello. Vulnerable to sleep, aren't they?
Yes, they're vulnerable to many statuses. Sleep seems like a pretty good one. Although this Zerker might mess that up a little bit.
Oh, he's going to mess it up completely. It's fine. It's not there's no real great way to do this, I don't think.
Without a few elixirs, and I'm pretty sure we don't have very many of them.
No. Elixirs would get them the critical, but yeah, unfortunately I don't think so. So I think we're just gonna...
This is a fight that you can do, like, as long as you're doing damage, even if they revive. When they revive with the same HP of the one that does the reviving. So you do wear them down if you can't kill them all at once. And Deathclaw's accuracy is that bad. Yes, it's not very good. You could try it on these guys, but at this location, it's pretty darn unlikely to hit. I think I would do, what Fiery's doing over going for Deathclaw.
Oh, do you not have sleep status on you right now? Interesting.
These are the angry undead big triplets that guard the great submarine trench in vanilla. I think people tend to call them the piggies or the triplets for short. Okay, one down. Now we really would like to kill these other two off as quickly as possible. Is the Zerker...
the front one's
gonna get a
asleep.
turn?
Front one's
Perfect.
asleep. Yeah.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Oh, nicely done. That is not an easy fight to do in the way that you did it, but you got it first try.
And after that one, I will save. I'm curious if we're gonna get to see Crystal Guardians up in the Twintonio spot. That would be interesting.
Yeah, they're really fast and they hit really hard, and we don't have any, not even one Mirage Vest. So that could be a little rough.
There are plenty of interesting bosses left on this. There are plenty of bosses I don't want to see as well, so...
At this spot right here, 50,000 hit points and absolutely required to reach the final boss. Oh, but being that it's Liquid Flame, we can rely on Death Procs, or we can do Death Claw, or we can do a number of things. It's both non-heavy and death vulnerable. So now it's at single-digit hit points after that Death Claw. And it's just about dead.
You have a nice rod. Cool.
Oh yeah, I think that was the Wizard Rod, which has
Yeah.
like all the elements sort of incorporated into it at once, and Absorb gets the priority, but Liquid Flame goes down.
So just one more traditional boss, and then we get to have a little bit of fun that you wouldn't normally see in a race setting. Or maybe you would if people are that
I think the way to go is, well, you can do it however you like, Fire.
I'm doing that
Usually
first.
what I do is take, is I kill Ted and Ned first, and then maybe I do the portal boss to reload, you know, but you can do it in whatever order you like. There is Shinryu in his box as well. After Necro, perhaps we will open the chest. We know he's weak to ice, but you know what? The super boss levels are also randomized a bit up and down from their vanilla, and so there's always a chance that Shinryu is just multiple of 5.
Yeah.
And there's also a chance that Shinryu can be undead, which means that even if level 5 have hit him, it would just bring him right back at full health. So there's lots of silly shenanigans that can happen if you're interested in doing some of the extras in this randomizer.
Yeah, so the big difference between Shinryu and Omega is Omega has innate wall, which makes a lot of the strats you would like to do completely worthless. Because wall will just reflect it. So here's the Necro spot. Find out who's here. It's Titan. That's not terribly great, actually.
He does hit really hard. Titan's strength scales with location, and boy, is he gonna hit hard. 2980. Yeah, and we never found Big Guard. We don't really have any way to set up good damage mitigation, and I'm curious maybe how many Phoenix Downs Fiery has. A decent amount. Oh, it's Titan versus Galef in terms of who hits harder. Galef does win on that. Anyone who might be worried about Titan's Deathquake, it only does 500 throughout the entire game, no matter where he's located, or around 500. So that part is not really a concern.
If I had Mind Blast, this would not be in a difficult fight at all.
Well, if you want, you could reset and learn it for this fight. To you, though. It's a good reminder, though. We do want to learn Mind Blast before the final fight, probably. It's a very useful spell.
I mean, I don't need to, cool. Because we have instant kills on 2 of them.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty handy, though, to just lock down one part so that you can... the dark shocks to hit and such.
He's just really, really mad. That's why we gotta fight him.
We interrupted his reading of the newspaper. good. Someone finally got a block. That's nice.
Hey, which
So
newspaper is
for
it? Crystal Times?
probably, yeah. Tycoon Times. I don't know. Those of you familiar with Vanilla probably know that like to take a team full of running shoes wearers into the void. One thing that can be more difficult about the randomizer is, we only found one pair of running shoes, and so we're probably gonna have to try and pull things off with only one hasted character. There's certainly a lot of other power that we have in the randomizer that can make us stronger, but as you can see, Titan is also stronger. So, yeah.
I actually needed that block.
Yeah, there's some. This is not a sure thing fight. Although I think we're mostly recovered already now.
We just want bodies in the way at this point.
Although Lena's hit point total is a fairly important value because she's the only one to guaranteed survive the Deathquake if it happens.
When it happens.
Yes, when it happens. It's guaranteed to happen. We don't have a way to make him not Deathquake.
I was having to put on the Tinkerbell there, actually. For no reason other than just to do so.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I don't think that the Geomancer has really
There we are.
been a great terrain user in this particular seed, just because being a blue mage is just so much better. But nice win there. So this is the final save point unlocked and a warp point as well.
So, first things first. We go backwards. We did actually... I forget if we found a coral ring or not. I don't think so. We don't know what Shinryu has anyways in terms of attacks.
Yeah, the opening tidal wave is from Vanilla. Pretty good chance that he's not going to be using that here. Oh,
Alright.
Instead, that's going to wipe the team.
That it does.
I don't know if that's an always opening or if it's like a 1/3 chance. I'm not sure whether Shinryu gives the script change makes a guaranteed. My guess is it's not guaranteed what he does on his first turn, but I could be wrong. In theory, the Aegis Shield can block it, huh? Is that what you're thinking?
I'm thinking a lot of things right now.
Oh, good question from chat. Does Galuf never swap out for Kryl in the Rando? Galuf can be in the team all the way to the end and save the world if don't go to Moor Forest, where he's hard-coded to be replaced by Kryl, or Kara in this fan translation she's called. So yeah, we have Galuf through to the end in this seed, but I don't know, maybe roughly half the seeds, or maybe a little less than half, you would get Kara instead.
If you have to enter Fork Tower for whatever reason, you need to do more Forest, because otherwise the game will actually crash if you try to initiate the cutscene past Fork Tower.
Yeah, there's multiple things that sort of force Kryl that it can't be easily.
Why didn't I just
Oh
do
my
that
gosh,
before?
is he undead or not?
We'll find out in a second. Nope.
So, Shinryu, easiest boss in the game.
I wanted to Toad. I wanted to Toad Shinryu, but I missed the first time. I'm like, let's just try it.
I think Shinryu is level 97 in vanilla,
Yep.
so he may have been bumped up to, or down to like 95 or 100 or something like that. Or I think the range is like plus or minus 10, so it could even be as low as like 90.
All right, so there are 4 possible portal bosses. This is the new one, isn't it? It's not Dragon Clan.
I think it's Rain Senshi.
Oh no,
No,
it's
Somber Mage, the original.
So Slumber Mage is can certainly be an issue because it will counter everything.
Yeah.
Which is not the greatest thing.
Without Big Guard,
This is
do we have one either? I don't think we do. This is gonna be rough. Oh wow, you got the Dark Shock to hit first try. What are the chances of that? She must have low magic evade or something. That's crazy. All right, so I think she's 97, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that becomes 48. So now you can death by math her, but she does have 3 forms. So you have to kind of.
Thank you for not killing Lena.
All of them. Also, her second
Oh.
form is undead, so using 05 Doom on her second form would not be good.
Nope. And also, like, the running shoes would make it a little bit interesting, which is probably why I missed it. So yeah, Rain Senshi used to be... Rain Senshi used to be vulnerable to this trick.
Okay, Form 2 with the blue skin is the undead one. And just a sprite recolor, but...
We don't even have Fusion, which makes this really awkward. So Fusion is a really nice blue mage spell because it will basically full elixir at the cost of, you know, one party member basically sacrificing him or herself. Yeah, I forgot you were... It's been a long time.
She's wind themed, so she absorbs wind stuff, but you know, Fiery made it look pretty easy, got to the end of the game pretty quickly, but if you don't have a lot of tools at your disposal for this particular fight, you can be in trouble.
That's Rando's.
Yep, I mean, we're in a cave here, so... Oh, ouch.
Yeah, so the big thing is that it will counter with... it will counter, like, nothing else.
As long as Gallif is hitting that hard, we can kind of play support for him.
Yeah, if I had an elixir, this would be much better.
I guess we don't have a single elixir. Another thing different about the randomizer is... okay, well, may want to save it, I don't know, but elixirs drop like candy in the vanilla game. Not so much in the randomizer. Elixirs are really hard to come by. There's a couple bosses that always drop one. Neither of which I don't... Well, I think we got our one elixir. It must have been from the Here You Plant, because it always gives one. But that's the only one that we have. Alf doing really nice damage. I gotta give him credit for that. But right now our hit points are low, and Somber Mage's attacks can hurt. So, nice block of the Dark Shock. We don't want that to happen to us. That's cuts our level in half.
Yeah, if I had White Wind or Big Guard, this would be significantly easier. Unfortunately, we do not have that.
Yeah, and we knew that we didn't need it to... need the Big Guard to beat the normal final boss, which is same as vanilla. But going for this bonus portal boss, pretty tricky. Oh no, lost the shell. That's unfortunate. Yeah. Triple drain. At least only one of them actually hit.
The Aegis Shield coming in clutch. Can we get rid of this form yet?
No, I think each of these forms has 65,000 hit points, so it takes a while. Do we have any Revivifies?
Yeah, I bought a few of them. I just don't know where they are.
Way at the top, okay. Alepht's damage rolls are pretty variable. We like to see the 7,000s more than the 3,000s.
I'm just very surprised that this phase isn't dead yet.
Oh yeah, it takes a while to punch through 65,000
Yeah.
per form. And the last form is extremely rude, like probably the most likely one to kill us as well. So it's not over yet.
I think every form is
Oh.
likely to kill me.
Yeah. Rainbow Wind, as you can see, has inflicted blind on Galuf. It also inflicts HP
Silent.
leak.
And silence.
And silence. Yep. Galuf doesn't care about silence. He can a silent berserker. But as we get deeper into the script, Somber Mage's script, there's just more and more things that Clear Tonic has coded her with that can cause problems for us. So, no, haste being a very bad thing.
I have no way to dispel that, unfortunately. How do you still?
Yeah, I'm now expecting her to die at any moment.
Or I'm gonna die at any moment, truthfully.
One or the other, yeah. But when I say her to die, I mean change to the last form. There's
Yeah.
still one more form to try and fight. I think this is going to be a situation where you reload to get some of these resources back for the vanilla final fight.
Oh, I mean, it would force it anyways. It goes right into the credit sequence.
That's right, yep. It is the alternate win condition, as mentioned before. This should gotta be finishing. No, still not quite. Somber Mage, not in this form, but in her two other forms, actually is humanoid, but we don't have any way to exploit that. If you have like a dancer or something with a man-eater, that's a max damage sword dance.
I just legitimately need you to get to the next phase so I can finally do more death by mat. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay.
Those drains, you know what? If she's undead and using drain, she shouldn't be gaining HP back. She should be hurting herself with that, but it doesn't. The numbers are green on her instead of white, so she is. Oh my gosh, she shot an arrow. I don't know if I've ever even seen that.
Can you please? Thank you.
Okay, phase 3, we got to it. This in itself is a nice accomplishment. Now for the hope that we can get a Dark Shock hit.
That's GG's.
I knew this phase was going to be really dangerous.
I had
That
one
was a really
shot.
good attempt. Yeah, that was a very good
One
attempt.
shot for that.
Yes, a valiant attempt nonetheless, and I think we can definitely see maybe I don't know, like another $10 per phase you managed to get through there. I'm just implying.
Yeah,
Very
that was
ambitious, right?
impressive.
Good enough. For basically no actual setup, I will take how long that took. I don't know. We can play. I feel like playing Grand Cross Roulette. Actually.
Okay. So no Mind Blast going into the final fight, which means Fiery cannot paralyze the Grand Cross part of Neo X Death indefinitely. So it's gonna be a little bit less of a sure thing. And going for the considering how many Dark Shocks you're probably gonna have to hit and the amount of MP that you have, I'm not all that optimistic.
I only have to hit one.
There's one. I was thinking about for the next phase, but
I'm not doing a double. I'm just
Okay.
doing or I'm not doing quad. So this is gonna be a little bit awkward, but we can try it.
Yeah, the tree is level 77 divided by 2 goes to 38. And then you can level 2 old into level 5 Doom if you've got the right timing.
Yeah, character in a way.
Yeah, that was a difficult timing because of turn order. Oh, second try, very nice.
We got Xdef exclaiming why, stating that he has the power of Void. Not that anyone knows what Void is. Of course, Xdef is, what, millions of evil souls stuck into a tree? So, that's what it is. So Neo Xdef here. You know, final fight, 4 different parts. All pretty scary, except honestly the front one here, which is just basically physical. Lots of HP, 50,000 in the front, 60,000 in the back, and 55 in the middle. The most problematic part in those 4 Job Fiesta runs is going to be that part in the bottom, the middle bottom, which is the Almagest, the magical beast part. Almagest, if it goes off, will do roughly 1700 AoE damage. The plan here is to not let it go off, because what we're going to do is actually use its break weakness. And hopefully the chicken knife doesn't fail to proc 50,000 times.
Nice.
We get rid of the Almagest.
Oh, wow. Nice turn order there. Mystic Knight gets to go first, immediately attacks with the break blade that Fiery had set up. And one part is already down. Condemn, a really useful blue spell because it never misses. And that little 30-second timer you see there is how long that part of Ed has to live. The back is going to die once that counts down to 0.
And this is the part that will possibly take forever and a half. So the Zerker is actually completely useless in this fight. It cannot do anything.
Not a priority to unpetrify Galuf. He's a statue in his own honor at the moment. Fiery's trying to get these dark shocks to hit. This is tough because these parts have high level and high magic evade. So you really have to spam the dark shocks until you get them to hit. The front is level 81. So when Dark Shock hits, it'll be at 40 and Death by Mathable. The Grand Cross part, I want to say, is like maybe 83? Is
83.
Right?
Yep.
So you need to Dark Shock it twice, but hitting the first one is the main issue. Once it loses, so many levels, it actually becomes easier to hit Dark Shock on it. But we've had a really good start to the fight so far. Everything is going pretty smoothly. It's just a question of if we can get these Dark Shocks to hit before we run out of MP. We do have one elixir back from Umber Mage fight, so that's one way to restore MP.
This is where, elixirs or ethers or fusion in particular would have been really nice to have. So Grand Cross, that was great. A++ there.
Random status effects get inflicted on the party with Grand Cross. If you have a piece of gear on that makes you immune, then you can potentially avoid getting some sort of status on you. But but also death is a status, so that's why hearts went down on the Grand Cross. But I think there's actually like about 16 or 17 different status effects that Grand Cross can do. Hey, there's one. So that one is ready to be Death by Masked. Now all we need is 2 more Dark Shocks to hit the...
Thank you for blocking. That was actually a pretty scary one.
most part. Yeah, Aegis Shield makes you immune to petrification, which means well, Delta attack can still hit you for some damage, but it can't petrify you. And the back just died because that counter ran down to 0. 2 pieces left. And we
Nice.
got a Dark Shock. We only need 1 more, and then it will be Death by Math for the win. 1 more to hit here, please.
And because the front part is already half leveled, it won't do nearly as much damage as it was.
We are very close here. I was concerned, but this is
As it then
going
does
fairly
1200 on the
well.
back.
I think that with enemies, their level actually doesn't matter much for their attack. Like, Titan is always level 1 through this entire randomizer, wherever you find him, and he sure knows how to hit hard anyways at the end. Of course, his attack value gets scaled up, so... for the characters, though, obviously level is a huge factor in most of the things that you do. Even the attempt to hit Dark Shocks, it helps to have extra levels on your character. It doesn't help a lot, but it helps little. Oh, we have it. Final setup. Lena,
Lena, you
dying
did so much.
as is required of every Final Fantasy. Sorry, every Final Fantasy V run. It's Lena meme, but no, she's so fast. She dies. She stands up. She gets the killing blow. She wins the game. And that's GG's for Fiery Blizzard. Well done.
How to make sure Galuf was dead. Needs to be canonical there.
Yes. Now held down the floor and is, now gonna join his buddies in the void. He saved the world twice. So he's still the greatest hero of them all, even though he didn't live through this one.
I'm actually, yeah, no. So I guess I haven't really been paying attention. So the credit sequences actually change depending on who's alive and who isn't at the end of the game. My assumption is that Galuf Kara Kryl takes the place of Galuf in the credits. So I assume what I don't know, because I never really paid too much attention, is whether or not Kryl is the one who shows up and disappears into the void. In this case, because I never
you're
bothered
right.
to look.
Right, I've never bothered to look at that either.
Huh.
Yeah, it's probably would be her, but it's also possible that the ending could break because that happens sometimes too. Like, if certain people are chemists, like, the ending just never finishes. It just locks on
Yeah, there's Kryl.
chemist outfit. Yeah, so yeah, it just switches to Trial being in the credits, I guess. Sort of makes sense.
My question is whether or not Kryl is going to disappear in the void at the end of this, or if... My
Yeah.
assumption is yes.
That's what I would assume too. So someone else will write the letter, and then she will come back, be revived by the guardian tree in the ending.
But yeah, I mean, this was Final Fantasy V Career Day, showed off a little bit. Didn't really show off all too much in World 3, unfortunately, but I'm glad I got to show off quite a bit of Death by Math, the underflow glitch on the Berserker. As I mentioned, the 4-job Fiesta will start soon, by the end of today, more than likely. Because, this is basically a yearly event between the middle of June and the end of August. So I know quite a few people who are familiar with Final Fantasy V really love to do the 4-job Fiesta. So here is your yearly reminder that it does exist and it is starting really soon.
And if you get burned out on doing full-length Fiesta runs, you can play the randomizer instead and complete a 4-job team run like Fiery did in maybe just a couple hours.
Or you can try secret portal bosses, and that'll take you even longer. That's a
Yep.
GG. Very much so.
Thank you. I know we have like 20 some odd minutes, I believe. So I don't know what you want to do.
I figure I'm going to talk a little bit about the Liam Foundation. If you two want to take your well-deserved rests, you may. I'm stuck on the chopping block for another like 4 hours.
Oh,
All
this
right.
ending is long if you want some nice music and video background while you talk. That might take us into the next run anyway.
You know what? That's perfectly fine. It's nice to have a little something there, at least until I finish talking stuff. So, as a reminder, we are here benefiting the Liam Foundation, whose mission is to encourage, assist, heal, and empower our LGBTQIA plus community through respect, advocacy, and passionate hearts to promote thriving in society. Right now, more than any time, as a trans individual having dealt with discrimination and such, organizations like this are the core of our ability to realize actualization. It's something so hard to describe, even though it's something that I'm actively living. But just knowing, I've been silly, I've been the villain with odd donation numbers and such, but it's all for the sake of helping out others who don't have the same sort of opportunities that I've had here, where I live, where it's having less bad time going on. Not to say that we have nothing. I still have to deal with my fair share of stuff. Offering small communities, even with the Liam Foundation, one of the main things they do is monthly support groups and bi-weekly LGBTQIA plus D&D, which, as I mentioned before, is pretty much how I managed to even come out in the first place. Having other people around who you can trust, who you can understand, and build those relationships with is absolutely incredible. And I may be up here in Canada, but I can be thankful for everything that they've done down there so far. And every little bit that we give, whether it's for silly amounts, for helping out, or just for the sake of tormenting a runner, it's all going towards a good cause that is well worth it. With that said, we'll take a little bit of a break here so we can shift over our restreamers and such and get ready for the Link to the Past run next.
That sounds good. I just wanted to thank you all for those of you in chat, those of you watching. Thank you for watching and chatting and donating. I do want to thank Final Fantasy Randomizer for putting this on for a great cause, and I hope to see quite a bit more money raised.
Just a very quick reminder, there's about 8 minutes before we confirm sprite and file names for Link to the Past, so if you want to scoop me out of there from one of those racers, now's your only opportunity.
And of course, Dry did want to thank you for getting up extremely early, or your cat's waking you up early, for helping on comms here. Great to commentate with you.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been on the mic together. Always a pleasure, and this is a great cause, and it's been just great to be a part of this. Thank you all.
With that, I believe we will let the marathon continue on with Link to the Past. It should be an exciting race, three-way race, I believe. So look forward to seeing that.